I was going to do a Jesse Lingard video the other day, but I didn't do it for a couple of reasons. Basically, I'd seen a TikTok, right? It's not for those of a certain vintage. It's not a clock. It's like YouTube, but the wrong way round with a camera. Very, very short video clips. Jesse Lingard had done a TikTok. I'll get onto that in a second. And I saw this TikTok and I thought, oh, there's a couple of things I'd noticed about this, and particularly the way the West Ham fans were reacting to this video that Jesse Lingard had put out. I thought, oh, I want to talk about that, but I didn't. I didn't for two reasons. Number one, I thought I'd done too many Jesse Lingard videos. Number two, there's always some grumpy people when I do a Jesse Lingard video. There's always people say, don't do another one, don't want to see him, why are you doing this rubbish? So, if you don't want to see a Jesse Lingard video, stop watching now. Go and have a lollipop. Go and just stay cool, basically, in this hot weather. This is going to make you even more enraged and inflame your temper. Don't do it. Do it, seriously. Come back tomorrow. So anyway, Jesse Lingard's done this TikTok. I can't show you because that's sort of copyright and it's his footage. He's almost done like a little sketch, if you like. So I will try and describe it to you. Jesse Lingard's walking out of his front door, and as he walks out of his front door, there's sort of thought bubbles popping up around him, right? But there's nothing written in them. So you're just seeing these thought bubbles there, and he's doing this. It's like he's weighing up, it's like he's weighing up his options, right? That's the first part of the sketch. He then walks out onto his drive, bigger than my drive, to be fair. He walks out onto his drive, and there's two cars. And you have to excuse me, I don't know much about cars at all, but I think one of them's a Range Rover, posh car, nice car. And one of them's an old banger, like a Honda Accord. I'm sorry if you've got a Honda Accord. It's all right, I've got a banger as well, it's fine, right? So anyway, he looks at him, he's doing all this, and he's sort of weighing it up. Range Rover, old banger, Range Rover, old banger. And he goes to walk to get into the Range Rover. Ah, no, sneaky, you see? Sneaky. Comedy genius, Jesse. He walks, and no, he gets into the Honda Accord instead and drives off. Now, this prompted quite a lot of reaction. You may have seen it. A lot of you may know what I'm talking about. And a lot of people were reading into it that Jesse Lingard was saying, I'm not going for the expensive thing, I'm going for the cheaper thing, right? And people read into that as if he was saying, I'm not going to choose the option. They thought it was profound, you see. They thought it related to the club he was going to sign for, and him saying, I'm not going to sign the biggest contract, I'm going to go with what's right for me, and I'm going to go for less money. And that thought process was then extrapolated further, as if to people saying he's not going to take the big bucks in the MLS, he's going to sign for West Ham for less money. Now, by the way, I'm not mocking people for reading stuff into it. I think there was a bit of subliminal messaging in there. It had to be. There's only three reasons to do a little sketch. Number one, you're just being sort of silly. Maybe that's right. Maybe you're silly. Now, as I say, a sketch, it wasn't funny anyway. So it wasn't like a comedy sketch. And number three is to get a message across. I think he probably was trying to get a message across. So I think that was a reasonable assumption as much as any. Anyway, that's what he was going for. And it just sort of made me laugh a little bit, but also cringe. It made me cringe, I've got to be honest with you. Because I thought, I almost hope it's not. I hope he's not done that, and it's not about West Ham. Because I hope he doesn't think he's almost doing us a favour by joining us. Because if he does think that way, he ain't read the room. And when I say he ain't read the room, he hasn't gauged the perhaps some of how the attitude to West Ham fans has probably changed towards Jesse quite a bit. And the reason for that is this. I don't personally have a problem with Jesse Lingard using West Ham on his initial loan deal to get back into the England team and to prove to Man United at the time it was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer what a great player he is. I don't mind that. If he comes out and is honest and just basically says, that's what I'm doing, I want to get back into the England team, can't get to the Man United team, but I'd love to get back into the Man United team. I'm a Manchester lad. It's always been my dream to play for the club. I'm going to basically use West Ham to try and make both those things happen, and hopefully I can help you along the way. I wouldn't have a problem with that. It'd be a successful loan deal, okay? But whilst all that was happening, there was a lot of flirting, a lot of knicker flashing was going on. There was lots of that going on, and lots of that going on in his social media as well. And stuff like that. And it indicated, and this was after he left and after he went back, that maybe there was a future to it. Also, let's be fair, he's not going to be oblivious to the fact that David Moyes wants to sign him and that we expect that he might sign and might be available on a free. It would have been very, very easy for him to turn around and just quash all of that and just say, no, I'm really trying to pursue my career at Manchester United. Wouldn't have had a problem with it whatsoever. However, I do think he's misread the room. And I'm going to go on to explain why. But before I do, this video is sponsored by the OneFootball app. This Lingard video is sponsored by the OneFootball app, which you can download by scanning that QR code up there, or clicking down below, right there, underneath in the comments section, there's a link. Click on the link, it will take you to the OneFootball app. You download the OneFootball app to your mobile device, your phone. And when you download it, it says which team do you support. You say West Ham. Or if you're Jesse Lingard, say Man United. And then when you download it, and when it finds out, it gathers all the news that is pertinent and related to West Ham, in the newspapers, in the websites, everything, puts it all together in one place. That's transfer news, it's injury news, it's fixtures, it's results, it's everything. It's your one-stop West Ham shop. That's the OneFootball app. Use the link below to download it. So here's where I think he's sort of misread the room a little bit, because it appears to me, and it appears to many others, by the way, because we get comments every day on here. I read the comments, so I know I get quite a lot of cross-section of feedback of how people feel about Jesse Lingard. And people feel about Jesse Lingard that he's had a look at almost everybody, apart from West Ham. So whilst I think I would have been accepting, and most West Ham fans would have been accepting that he would prefer Man United. The point he can't go to Man United, it would have been nice to think that maybe we were his second choice. But I think it's become clear that we were not even his second choice. He's almost anyone but West Ham United. Now, I've mentioned this before, and that's not going to be any sort of surprise. And I think the fact that he went out to the MLS was a bit of salt in the wounds for me anyway. But, I mean, look, it will be played out. He went over to the MLS to have a holiday and all the rest of it. But if that was the case, then when Rooney was questioned about it, Rooney would have just said, no, I don't know where you're getting that story from. He's not even coming over here. Rooney wouldn't have given it the old, I don't comment on transfer speculation stuff and all the rest of it. He would have said, honestly, I know Jesse. Jesse's over on holiday. We're not even meeting up. Whatever. That's what would have happened. But that didn't happen, right? When I talk about misreading the room, though, you know what that saying means, right? The misreading of the room is you haven't read the room well. That's like walking into a room of people and everyone's there like this, all solemn and all down. Most people would walk into that room if everyone's there, sort of their body language like this. So everyone usually would walk into the room and think, oh, this ain't good. This ain't good. You walk in there and say, you all right? Is everyone all right? Right? Misreading the room is walking in and going, hey, here I am, the old the J-Lings. And I do think there's a certain amount of that. Go, hey, Jesse's here. And I do wonder if he sort of misread the room a little bit. And with this whole TikTok and with the whole way he's sort of carrying on, because as somebody mentioned, say somebody, I would imagine there's at least 10 people have made this comment, which is, Jesse Lingard's not in the same situation that he was. He's not starting. He's not going to be able to pick up from where he left off. And I hope Jesse doesn't think he can pick up from where he left off, because that goodwill has largely been eroded. And as somebody said, if he comes back to West Ham and he starts having a stinker, then there may be a number of fans that get on his back just because of what's happened in the intervening period. So I think I look at the Lingard situation. I would certainly like to see, because I think he might sign. And don't get me wrong, I think it'd be a good acquisition. And actually, when I start putting in my mind the starting 11 together that we could possibly have if we get, and obviously we're not going to get all the signings that we're linked to. I don't think we're going to get Breuer and Scamacca, right? Scamacca. Someone said it was Scamacca. Is it? Wonder. Scaramouche, when you do the Fandango. Him, right? And we're going to get him and Mandalorian Brozier. Not a chance, right? So we're not getting everyone. But when I started putting the team together, I was like, oh yeah, Breuer up front, and maybe stick Antonio on the wing, and then, Bowen on the other wing, that three-pronged attack, and maybe a bit Lingard behind, and then maybe you'd get sort of Declan Rice and Onana and whatever. You start putting the team together. And you start thinking, oh, it's a tasty team. So don't get me wrong. I think Jesse Lingard would bring a lot to West Ham. I think Jesse Lingard really, really would. However, there was a point at West Ham during his period with us before when he had a couple of bad games. Not many. He was brilliant, right? But he had a couple of bad games and Moyes wouldn't substitute him. It was one of them. And a couple of people have mentioned on the comments that if he came back and he didn't hit the ground running and actually was a bit stinky, he basically was a bit crap for a while, and Moyes was still playing it, then there'd be a certain amount of pressure on him, and there might be some disenchantment from some of the fans. I just found that very, very interesting, and it was really that, and I was thinking, okay, he needs to almost come back a little bit humble. I almost want him to have an explanation. I know there's going to be an explanation, but what I don't want it to be is that one where he turns around and says, do you know what, it was always West Ham for me. I was always looking forward to coming back. And we know that's rubbish. We know that's rubbish, okay? Because he's had plenty of times to try and force the issue. He's had plenty of times to suggest it, and let's be fair, he didn't really want to. It's going to be interesting. It is going to be interesting to see if he comes like, he's giving it, come on. Oh, honestly, cut me open and I bleed pie and mash, and all the rest of it. It'd be interesting to see, wouldn't it? Anyway, but I think it might happen. I really do. I think it might happen. But let's be fair. Newcastle are out the running. Newcastle are not bidding for him. All right. So that's it. I think none of the top, whatever you want to call them, the top 6 clubs are particularly interested. Everton, I believe, can't afford his wages. I'm not sure how you can go from being banging trouble for FFP. I know they've recouped 50 million for a Richarlison. That's only 50 million. It's ain't going to get them. Surely some of that money's got to be paid back for the debt that they've got anyway. And then I don't think he's got a load of options. And I just wonder if maybe he's looking at it now and actually. The rumour is that he wants... excuse me. Let me have a little drink. I could have carried on all croaky then, but and the rumour is that he wants 180 grand a week. Now, it might not be true. All right, that might just be press talk. He might want a quite reasonable wage, but that's what we hear. And there are enough leaks from enough different places to suggest, I'm sure, he would want a high wage. But I do think it's really important he doesn't come in as our highest wage earner, because I do feel it's really important that we get players in that want to play for us, and that is emphasised no more so than Flynn Downs. When you hear Flynn Downs speak, he's in utter amazement. He's bewildered. He can't believe it that he's in the club he loves. It's a dream come true. He's like a kid at Christmas. He could not believe it. He so desperately just wants to be there. Remember David Martin? David Martin doesn't care that he played 3 games for us. He's proud that he got a chance to play for West Ham, his club. And I think it's really important that, I'm not saying Flynn Downs should be our highest earner, you understand, but I do feel it is really important that we know our own value. We're West Ham United, right? I think we've got a really good manager. I think we've got a good team. In fact, we do have a good team. Back-to-back seasons would show it. We seem to be added some players, right? Let's be fair. We did pretty damn well last season without Jesse Lingard. I think it would have been a cherry on the cake. I think he might have been the difference between a semi-final and a final in the Europa Cup or the Europa League, whatever it's called, right? I really do. Okay, but it is really important that we keep our own sort of self-esteem, our own sense of self-worth, if you want, because there are other players out there, and it's been hard. The old chase from David Moyes, Jesse Lingard, who has been teasing him a bit, has been hard to watch for me anyway. I'd be interested to know if I'm on my own. I don't think I am. I think hopefully I say talk about reading the room. I think hopefully I've read the comments well enough over the past few months to know what other people are thinking. That actually, Jesse's not got a lot of credit in the bank with West Ham. He's almost going to have to start again. But make no mistake about it, he can start again, and he hits the ground running, and he starts scoring straight away. I mean, he will claw that back very, very quickly. But how this is going to play out, how this is spun, not so much by the club. The club have got to do what the club have got to do. They've got to make a sort of interesting reveal video. I get it. There's no blame apportioned to the club here at all. Far from it. So that they have to do an element of spin. I absolutely get it. The media department have got to do their job. But it'd be really interesting to see how, from the Lingard side of things, this is spun about his love to West Ham and all the rest of it. You know what? You know what? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe none of this happens. Honestly, maybe none of this happens. And actually, Jesse Lingard doesn't sign for us, and he just signs for the Houston Hurricanes or whatever, and gets $200,000 a week.